Most gardeners spend hundreds of dollars every season on fertilizers, sprays, and fancy soil mixes. And still their vegetables come out small, weak, and flavorless. But here's what nobody talks about. The Amish have been growing the most insanely productive gardens for over 200 years. No chemicals, no irrigation systems, no expensive equipment, just dirt, hands, and a few methods passed down quietly through generations. And when you see what they actually do differently, you're going to feel like someone hid this from you on purpose. The real reason your garden underperforms, it's not your seeds, it's not your climate, it's not even your watering schedule. The real problem is that modern gardening completely disconnected us from the soil. We stopped feeding the ground and started feeding the plant. And those are two completely different things. The Amish never made that mistake. They understood something that took modern science decades to catch up to. Healthy plants are a symptom of healthy soil, not the other way around. When your soil is alive, your plants don't struggle, they explode. The thing the Amish do that almost nobody copies. They build what old Amish farmers called a living floor beneath every garden bed before a single seed ever goes in. No store sells it, no YouTube ad promotes it, it costs almost nothing. It's a layered burial system placed deep under the root zone using raw organic waste most people throw away. Straw, wood scraps, kitchen compost, even old leaves packed tightly into the bottom of a deep trench before the soil goes back on top. This buried layer does something remarkable underground. It slowly breaks down over months, feeding an entire ecosystem of microbes and earthworms directly beneath your plant's roots. The roots chase it downward, growing deeper and stronger than they ever would in flat, lifeless soil. The Amish called it feeding the earth first. Scientists today call it lkultur, or trench composting. The name doesn't matter. The results are almost hard to believe until you see them. Here's exactly how to do it. First, dig your bed or planting hole much deeper than you normally would, at least 35 to 45 centimeters down. This is where most people already give up, but don't. This step is everything. Pack the very bottom with raw organic material. Straw works perfectly. Dry leaves, wood chips, kitchen scraps, even torn up cardboard without tape or glossy coating. Layer it, press it down, then soak it completely with water until it's fully saturated. On top of that buried layer, add a generous amount of finished compost, about a hand's width thick. This acts as a bridge layer, something your roots can feed on immediately while the buried material below slowly wakes up. Now plant deeply. The Amish always buried their seedlings far deeper than the instructions said. For tomatoes, peppers, and most vegetables, bury up to 2/3 of the stem. Roots will form along the buried stem and reach straight down toward that underground feeding zone. Backfill with your native soil mixed loosely with compost and water it in slowly. Why this keeps working harder every single year? Here's the part that genuinely surprised me when I first learned it. This method doesn't wear out, it compounds. As the buried organic layer breaks down, it leaves behind dark, stable humus that permanently improves your soil structure. Worm populations double and triple in that zone. Each season, the soil gets darker, looser, and more alive without you adding much at all. The Amish didn't replant into declining soil like most modern gardeners do. Their plots got more productive with age. Some family gardens were worked the same land for 5 or 6 generations, and the soil only got richer. That is the complete opposite of how most people garden today. The watering method they swore by. Amish gardeners never watered lightly and often. They watered deeply and infrequently. Light watering keeps roots near the surface, weak and dependent. Deep watering forces roots downward toward that buried organic layer where all the food is. Once roots find it, the plant practically takes care of itself. Water slowly, at the base, never on the leaves. Then let the soil almost dry before watering again. This cycle builds drought resistance and dramatically improves flavor because stress-free, deeply rooted plants convert more energy into the fruit itself. The mulch step most people skip. After planting, cover the entire surface with a thick layer of organic mulch. Straw is ideal. Dry leaves or wood chips work too. This isn't optional. Mulch locks in the moisture that feeds the buried layer below. It regulates soil temperature on hot days and cold nights. And as it slowly breaks down from the top, it feeds the same microbial system from above, while the buried layer feeds it from below. Your soil is being fed from two directions at once. That's why Amish gardens look the way they did. Mistakes that quietly kill the whole system. Using fresh green material in the buried layer instead of dry, carbon-rich waste. Fresh material heats up and steals nitrogen from your plants before they even establish. Planting too shallow. The whole system depends on deep roots reaching that lower zone. Shallow planting defeats the purpose completely. Overwatering after planting. The buried layer needs to breathe to break down properly. Soggy soil slows everything down and suffocates the microbes doing the work. And the biggest one, expecting fast results and abandoning it. This method builds slowly, but by midsummer the difference between this bed and your old ones will be impossible to ignore. The Amish didn't have a gardening problem. We do. They never needed to fix their soil because they never broke it in the first place. Every season, they put more back than they took out. They grew with the soil, not against it. If this made you rethink how you've been approaching your garden, subscribe to the channel, and honestly, share this with someone who's been buying expensive fertilizers for years and still getting disappointing results. The Amish figured this out 2 centuries ago. The information was always there. We just stopped listening. If you're tired of spending money on fertilizers that barely work, try this method once. Just one bed. Test it side by side with what you normally do. And when you see the difference for yourself, come back and tell me. Also, hit subscribe because I'm breaking down more of these old school methods that still outperform modern gardening today. And share this with someone who's been struggling with their garden. They'll thank you later.